I've been in both leagues. I mean, the ACC is an unbelievable competitive league. Great players, the second most NFL players of any conference in the country, top to bottom. Great coaches, great commissioner. We had 11 teams bowl eligible. Like I say, Clemson won a BCS. We won a BCS. Duke played tremendous. Other guys won games, had big wins. You know, it's a great group of coaches and players, and hopefully now to get a little more respect. And which I think it definitely deserves, because when you go through it from players and the number of NFL players, Pro Bowlers, the whole thing, we're right behind the SEC in everything we do. And it's a great league, and I'm very proud to be in it and happy to be in it. We have as many tricks as anybody else. I just believe in using them when I think you have to change them, but they're momentum changers. And when you do it, they change the game and the outcomes. And we felt we had to go to that. We've had plenty. We got a bunch of fake punts and trick reverse passes and reverses, and we got all kind of stuff. I can draw them up with anybody. I got to, like Nick used to say in practice, I had a stick in my pocket and used to draw them up in the dirt. He used to get mad. But you know, I just don't believe you win championships that way. I think you do it with great offense, great defense, great special teams, and the tricks are used to change momentum of the games and outcomes of games when you have to.
Was there a deep moment that you shared with Jameis after he started 6 and 15, or did you just know that he was going to turn it around?
No, we did. You don't ever know, because you can say you know, but coach, people say that it's not true. You have to believe in the guy, and you have to talk him through it, and you have to coach him through that situation. And like, you know, we had a moment we talked about. You know, you've 3 quarters. We're still in this ball game. And like I told him, I've always believed he was a great player. I thought there was something special about him. I told him the great ones can put those quarters behind them, and when they have a chance to win the game at the end. I always talk about Michael Jordan all the time. He's going to be 5 for 20, last 5 minutes of the game, and they hit 7 shots in a row. I mean, how does a guy do that? I mean, I'm not saying he's Michael Jordan, but those great guys that have that something down, they can put that behind them and know that there's a moment in front of them and go on and play. The Montanas of the world, the Elways, the Marinos, those guys at Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, those guys that get the ball at the end. And I believed he had that, and I said, you got to go back to your fundamentals, find crumbs. And that's a term we use to, if the big play's there, take it. If it isn't, just dump it off. Use the people around you. Don't put the pressure upon yourself. And he went back to doing it, got himself in the rhythm. And I'm going to tell you, it's a lot easier as a coach to say that as it is for a player to go do that. To me, it was a tremendous growing point for him, and I think it's the best football game he's played all year. I did pull a hamstring. You know what it was? It was when Rashad Green caught the pass and got horse-collared, and it wasn't called badly, and I was running down yelling at the referee. I did pull a hamstring. I was actually running. That one, I was hopping on that one. I was running on the other one. I did. It wasn't on the Whitfield one. I was happy on that one. I was all right on that. It was on when they missed the horse collar call, which I thought was because that could have put us down. It was a major call in the game that I thought was a big moment. But we didn't have time to argue about it. But I was sprinting down there trying to get on to him. That's when I got hurt. But now we enjoyed it a little bit last night. I mainly just come back and had family. Now we didn't leave the room, and my mom and my family, my brothers, my friends, and my wife and my kids, and just and some of that, we just hung out right there. And basically, I sat there and just sat in the chair and about half fell asleep, to be honest with you. Felt like you want to sleep for about a week after these seasons. But now we'll get it back and get tomorrow and give the staff a day or so, and then we'll get back on recruiting. We got to get going. It's time for another one.
How important was it that Bobby Bowden gave you the freedom to develop your program without constantly getting in the way?
Tremendous, and that to me it speaks of who the man is. Like I say, he's as quality of a person that's ever walked a sideline in college football. The winningest coach ever, but the class in which he exemplifies himself with and what he represents is tremendous. And it's funny. I say this story all the time. And back in the late '80s, when I was a GA and learning to coach, and I used to sit around at the Bowden Academies, I was a senior advisor for the quarterbacks of that academy, and we sitting out back and just talking by the pool at night and whatever, and just every word they would say I would stand on just to try to learn and get a grasp of something. But he always said, that whenever he left, he was going to get out of town and leave whoever the head coach. He said this 25 years ago because it happened to him one time in his career, and I saw it happen to Terry a little bit at Auburn when the old coaches hang around and they're always doubting and questioning. And he said, no matter who it was, it just happened to be me. It was unbelievable, but. To me, it shows the class of the man and who he is and what he is. And like I say, he's as good a man as ever walked the sideline in college football.